Hey, this is Scott Ellis, and before we get into this week's episode, I wanted to talk to you about Disney. Now, when I say the word Disney, the first thing that probably comes to your mind is the happiest place on earth. And if that's the case, it is probably because of their time-tested decades of experience at providing high-quality service and always being focused on customer satisfaction at almost any cost. Now, the Collin College Preston Ridge campus in Frisco is offering you an opportunity to learn how Disney does it. They're inviting you to join them for Disney's Approach to Quality Service, a professional development course presented by Disney Institute. If you're interested in bringing that level of quality service to your business, all you have to do is go out and register at collin.edu/corporate-college/Disney or hit the link in this episode. That course is coming up on Tuesday, October 30th, and you don't want to miss it. Now let's get on with the show. Welcome to the Frisco Podcast. I'm Scott Ellis.
And I'm Nicole Barron.
And today we are here with
Malcolm Farmer
from the Texas Legends. Malcolm, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
President of the Texas Legends. I should get that right.
President. I also go by janitor and team punching bag. So whatever works for you.
I'm going to stick with president for now.
Okay. I'm good with
Let's see
all
how
of
the
them.
show goes, and then maybe we'll change it up.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Well, it's good to have you on. I don't think we've ever had you on the podcast before. So
I think this
long
is my
overdue.
maiden voyage, so take it easy on me now.
Yeah, no worries. You're going to be great. But we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today, including basketball, if you can imagine that.
That's something I know a little bit about, so we can help there. Okay.
So first of all, how long have you been with the team?
We were just doing the math on that, and math is not my strong suit, but I think I'm in my 10th year, albeit it's our 9th season coming up. So I guess I'm working on a decade, and it's been a very fast decade.
Wow.
Been a lot of fun.
Have you been working for Donnie that whole time?
I have, yes. Donnie's been awesome. You know, he gives us a ton of freedom to go out there and be creative and find ways to accomplish things. And, it's been a lot of fun. And if you know Donnie at all, you know that working with him is a blast.
Good. Glad to hear that. Well, congratulations on 10 years and going into the 9th season.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's awesome. We love having the Texas Legends here. I'm an Indiana boy, so basketball is kind of in my blood.
So, hey, I went to school in Indiana for college, so I can
Uh-huh.
appreciate that. And,
Very good.
a Hoosier, that's awesome.
Absolutely. So let's start off just easy here. Let's talk a little bit about what we have coming up in the season. What do we have to look forward to in the 2018-2019 Season 9 for the Legends?
Lots of fun. If there's one thing that I think the Legends are synonymous with, it is fun and family. And so, look, we expect to have some tremendous basketball. We're still figuring out our roster at this point, but without tipping our hand, I think we've got some players coming back to us who were in the NBA last year, so that bodes well from a player perspective.
Can you drop names yet, or do we have to wait?
I can't drop names quite yet, but I can drop hints.
Okay,
we'll see
fair
how
enough.
good you are. And then we're expecting to have some really good players from the Mavericks as well. They just recently signed Kostas Antetokounmpo. Say that name 5 times
I'm not
fast.
even gonna try.
Okay. His brother is Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Kostas is a young developing player who all indications are will spend the bulk of his season with the Legends. And, I'll tell you this, he is an exciting player. High flying, blocking shots, dunks. And you know what? I can't wait to see what Coach McKinnon's able to do with him in terms of developing his overall game. And he's only 19 years old. So I can remember when I was 19 years old, you're basically a baby, I think, right? I mean,
Yes.
So we'll see how he matures and develops over the next season.
All right, very good. Can you tell us, you probably can't tell me this, but I'm going to ask anyways, is Keith coming back?
I hope that Keith comes back. I think that, we're referring to Keith Hornsby.
Yes.
I think that he's looking at some overseas options. And, while I hope that he comes back, I also hope that he gets what he's looking for overseas.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense. If a guy can get the right opportunities, then them coming back may not make sense, and that's okay. We'll still have his, quote unquote player rights, and I would expect that he'll be back with us at some point. But if he doesn't get what he's looking for overseas, I know that he loves playing in Frisco. He loves playing with the Legends. and we love having him. So I certainly hope that if he doesn't get what he's looking for overseas, that we are a strong option from there.
Yeah, he became a favorite of mine really very quickly. The first time I saw him,
he's quite the personality.
Not just the personality, but as somebody that grew up around a lot of basketball, just that guy's hustle is second to none.
He plays
is moving
hard,
nonstop.
He's not blessed with all of the natural gifts that some of the players you see in the NBA are. But that's not just to lessen the player that Keith is at all. He makes up for it in a lot of different ways, and one of those ways is certainly the intensity and the hustle that he brings to the court every single day. You see it on game day.
Yeah.
But it's equal, if not more, in practice every day.
I can imagine that's how he can keep it up in game day.
That's right. That's right. He gets after it.
Yeah.
He gets after it.
It's fun to watch.
We published an article about him, last month or a month prior, about his wedding and his backstory that a lot of people didn't know about his twin brother.
Yep.
And it was really kind of fun. I think everybody really enjoys, because as you said, the Legends are a huge part of our community, and it's family and it's fun and it's Frisco. And I think, hearing more about the players and kind of what's going on behind the scenes is really fun. We did a piece on the assistant coach. We've done, and I would love to hear more about what's going on behind the scenes. What else about the Legends do people not realize after game day?
Well, first of all, a quick story about Keith. And yes, you guys did a tremendous article on him. We were at a game last year, and I knew he had a twin brother. And actually his dad may have been in attendance as well. But we were up in the club, the owners club, prior to the game, and we're doing our charity night presentation with the respective partner, and we've got all of our owners club members up there, with the networking and all of that component. And one of our sponsors did a double take, and they said, hang on, isn't that guy over there, shouldn't he be on the court right now? Isn't that Keith? And I was like, well, and I actually had to do a double take as well, but it was his brother, and his brother has only come to a handful of games, and it was really unique to kind of see our fans know the player well enough to do that double take and know that, this guy looks just like someone who's down on the court. What's going on here? But to speak to a lot of the other things we have going on, obviously we've got a number of business development opportunities, but I'll get to that a little bit later. The general theme around our games is about fun and family. And, look, I'm a basketball guy. I worked in college basketball for 10 years. I worked at a school in Indiana, so I can appreciate the purist side of it.
Uh-huh.
That being said, not to make light of it, but it's a game. Right. And, when we're done with that game, we want to win. Don't get me wrong, and I'm a competitive individual that anybody will tell you, but we want to win. But there's much bigger things that can occur at a sporting event or at an entertainment event than just the win or the loss. And, to hear some of the stories that have come out over the years and to see certain stories stick to my mind, and I won't say any names so as not to, publicly, expose anybody or anything like that. But when there's a child who has been going through a rough time as her parents are splitting up, and having a rough time in school, and to hear from her parents that we started coming to Legends games, and all of a sudden I saw her turn a corner of, hey, I get to go have fun again. And you know what? It's not all about the serious stuff at home and the stuff we're working through. And you know what? I'm having some issues at school, but I'm having fun again. And that smile, and then to see that smile carry over to the next day at school. And, I've got kids now, and I can speak from some experience. If you send that kid off to school in a positive mood, it's amazing the positive day they can have, versus if you send that kid off to school and there's been a conflict or an issue, it kind of has repercussions. And to hear from that parent that, we started coming to Legends games just by happenstance, and then my daughter enjoyed it so much, and she's not a basketball person. It's not like the sport is what's driving that attendance or that fandom. It's that I get to come to the game, and it's so family-centric, and my kid gets to go have fun, and we leave, and she's got a smile on her face. And that smile, she put on her T-shirt that I bought the next day for school, and it had a carryover effect. That's impactful. And there's other stories like that, but that's really what, we are about. Do we want to win? Absolutely. Do we want to develop players and send them to the NBA? 100%. Do we want to have fun while we're doing it? Yes. All of those things, though, are quite frankly less important than impacting just that one child, much less many more. So that puts in that's why I do what I do. When I first started out in basketball, for me it was all about winning and coaching, and that's it. But it gets put into perspective that at the end of the day, a year from now, 5 years from now, whether we won or lost on Saturday night really isn't that important. But the fact that we can impact a family, impact a child, impact a marriage that was having some difficulties, and for that husband and wife team to be able to come out to our game and have a date night where they both are entertained and both, one of them is there, quite frankly, they love the basketball. The other one is there for other reasons, but they can be there together, socialize, and leave having had a great date night. And, I don't want to say rehab their marriage. I don't know the right phrase, but to see their marriage take off again in a new path as they were empty nesters. So those are things that are very rewarding beyond the win or the loss.
I love that perspective because it's an investment in family. It's an investment in date night. It's an investment in quality time together as a family. And it's not just basketball. I've done that exact thing that you said. We were fortunate to have seats on the courtside seats. Over the last couple seasons, I was able to go and sit in those seats for Lifestyle Frisco with my husband. He also came to a game and brought our 3-year-old. It was his first exposure to basketball, and he had a blast. To be right there and watch those players was like magic for him. And so it is a great experience, and you all are part of the heart of Frisco because you can go and have that really spectacular family night or date night just down the street. You don't have to go down to Dallas and invest this whole, 5 hours of babysitting and all of that. You can just go down the street and have a good, fun night.
It totally, and you should be our official spokesperson.
Okay.
Nicole's good at that.
I'll compare us to the Mavericks. It's really apples and oranges.
Right.
It's two completely different products, even though we're both basketball teams and we're affiliated with each other. That being said, you said it. You go to a Mavericks game, you might bring your kids, but I don't think you're going to bring your kids 41 games a year.
No.
And
right.
It's a little bit more of an adult event. And you know what? At our games, if you're leaving the kids at home, then you've made a huge mistake. It's about bringing the kids. And from a business perspective, we've had a lot of success and a lot of success stories of people coming back to us and saying, I love the Legends for my business development and hospitality of clients, not necessarily because my client loves it so much, but rather my client's family loves it so much. And he or she is able to not just go do a business development event and leave the family at home. Rather, you're supposed to bring the family with you. And that business connection develops into something that is much more of a relationship beyond just the contract or whatever that agreement might be. It becomes a relationship where you're texting each other and, hey, what's your family doing this weekend? And next thing you know, we've had success where, the client and the prospect their kids are texting each other and making plans. Hey, that's what it's all about. It's more than simply two adults getting together when it comes to a Legends game.
Are you referring to the Owners Club?
Yes, whether it's the Owners Club or suite holders, or even just people who have, quite frankly, reserved seats. Any of the above, it's bring the family out and have a good time as a group, and not just with your business associate.
Yeah,
because you'll typically see a lot of the same. Even if you're in the just reserved seats, you're going to see a lot of the same people, throughout the course of the season, and you'll get to know them as well.
Develop those relationships.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we love going to the games for all of those reasons.
So, and actually, you bring up, some of the other things with kids. We just finished up a summer's worth of summer camps.
You did, yes.
And, that was, we had 5 camps this summer. All 5 were sold out. We did more than 400 kids over the course of the summer. That's a busy summer. And I was talking to our camp director yesterday, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm here this week. but I'll be on vacation the next 2. I think I've earned it. And I said, you absolutely have earned it. But those opportunities to give the people of Frisco, and hey, we had campers coming from as far away as Sherman, Denison, Durant, Oklahoma, Fort Worth.
Wow.
I was like, I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised.
Can you talk a little bit about the camp experience, just for anybody that hasn't had a chance to send their kids but might want to think about it if they're basketball?
Sure, and obviously summer camps are over now. We'll have a camp at the end of December, call it our winter camp. Typically, we'll do ages 6 to 14. It's boys and girls. And you know what? If your son or daughter is an elite basketball player, then they're certainly welcome at our camps, but there could be other camps for which they are also a great fit. If your son or daughter is getting into basketball, isn't necessarily the best player on their team, they're a great fit for our basketball camps. And we tell our coaches at camp that in this week of camp, you are not going to develop the next LeBron James. It is not going to happen in this 1 week. You can take your job as seriously as you want and coaching the kids as hard as you want. You're not developing LeBron James this week. However, what you are doing is potentially developing a love for basketball, a love for physical fitness, a love for athletics in a child. And whether that child has a good experience at our camp or not could determine whether they want to come back, not just to our camps in the future, but do they want to come back and do physical fitness in the future? And if you do want to develop the next LeBron James, it's going to occur over the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But if we don't have a successful week this week with that child at camp where they're walking out of here with a smile on their face, having had the time of their life, then they won't want to continue on. And that's really what we want to do with our camps, is develop that love for basketball, but if not basketball, then simply for physical fitness and knowing that, I want to get out there, I want to be active. And so that they'll continue to do it day over day and not dread doing those things, but rather embrace them and love them. That's really, look, our camps are fun. They're for kids. It's basketball. We'll do skills and drills and games and contests and have celebrity speakers. But at the end of the day, we'll gauge our success based on, is the child leaving our gym, number 1, safe, number 2, having had fun, and then finally, 3rd, did they learn something about basketball? Because if we don't accomplish the first 2 and we do accomplish number 3, it doesn't matter because they won't continue on with it.
Yeah. Okay, good. So great rundown on the camp. So if you have kids that even just kind of like basketball, want to play, want to get a little better, think about Legends Camp. Winter Camp will be coming up in December.
Yeah, check our website, textlegends.com.
There you go.
And we'll get I would guess we'll have Winter Camp out there in the next 2 to 4 weeks.
Of course, that'll be all over Lifestyle Frisco as well.
Appreciate
Yes,
that.
Now, what about, what other types of things, activities, stuff kind of outside the court do you guys have going?
If you've been to a game, you know that we've got plenty of kids zones.
Yes.
Actually a complaint, and I take this complaint as a positive. We had a season ticket member complain that there's too many kids activities. And I said, well, then I guess we're hitting the mark, because that's what we were going for. So, hey, maybe we need to relocate your seats. We can accompany you elsewhere. And we did, and they were very happy. But look, on both ends of the court, we've got different kids activities. And one of those ends is Generous George. I'm sure you'll see him out in the community. We try to get him out at all of our community events. And I like to look at that one. I've got elementary school age kids, and, that's great for the elementary school kids. They're spinning a basketball on their finger. They're doing hula hoops. They're drawing. He's got different, projects. Every game is something new down there, and they're playing. And one thing that I think there's so much, it's freedom for those kids.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you can still see them, you can monitor,
That is
but they can
huge.
go down there and
Yes.
they can play.
Yes.
And they feel like they're kind of independent and
like
doing their
go
own thing.
and
That's
I
the
can
idea.
see you and I can sit here.
And hey, you put a bow on your daughter or put your son in a bright blue shirt, and hey, there they are. It's pretty easy.
Totally.
Well, I don't know if I'd go blue at a Legends
That's
game
true.
because they're
Fair
going to get
enough.
lost in
Fair
the sea
enough.
of blue. But yeah.
Down the other end of the court, we've got, and it changes out every homestand. You might have the biggest inflatable slides you could possibly imagine. It could be a rock wall that you can go climb, mechanical bull, bungee trampoline. So we've got a variety of different activities, and I typically look at that as, really the middle school age kids. But we've also had, I'm almost 40 now. Before the game gets going,
all right,
I go down there
You
and
climb
try
the
it
wall?
out. And I do. Try it out and play. And so it's really kids of all ages down there. We also try to do different interactive zones on the concourse. We're actually unveiling something new this year. We've had Innovation Row in the past. That's going through a complete refresh, rebrand, redevelopment. It's courtesy of Raytheon, but it's going to be Tech Sideline this year. And it's going to be much more technology oriented. We're going to have some esports up there. We're going to have a variety of different things. I think back when I was coaching, a sidebar here. Back when I was coaching, if the phone rang during a meeting, that was a $5 fine. So
I'll buy a cup of coffee.
I'll collect later. Okay.
Yeah. See, I had my phone off. I forgot about the watch.
Technology bites it. So speaking of technology, we've got Tech Sideline, and so we're actually looking at doing a ribbon cutting. Our home opener is November 9th. And so we're going to treat it just like a Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting. We're going to have some kids going through for the first time just prior to that game.
Very cool.
And so it's going to be really a whole new zone where kids are having fun, doing things they like to do, but then there's an educational component around STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, that they'll learn. Hopefully they're learning and they don't even know they're learning, because that's when that's the most fun.
That's the best kind.
We're working on an article about that. Exactly. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because the partnership with Raytheon, the esports, and the STEM training we're doing, that'll be out within this month. It'll be in a couple weeks. So we'll have a whole lot. Yeah, we'll have a whole lot more about that, and that's something every parent should tune into. Esports is huge.
It is.
I had no idea
really
what it
natural fit
was
for right
until
now.
a month ago.
It is, but I think that there's a challenge, and this is something that we're trying to figure out and bridge in that esports realm, especially for kids, say at middle school, of how to convert that passion into their learning.
Right.
Concepts outside of the game. I have no doubt that the game is training their brain to be able to evaluate and make decisions and all those kinds of things. But I think there's opportunities for esports to really take that a step further and learn things beyond what's going on in the video game. And figuring out ways to do that. And obviously esports is so new and taking off so fast that I think there's a lot of opportunities for growth and development in that area.
Okay, I love it. A lot of good stuff to look forward to with the Legends this season.
It's going to be fun.
Opener, you said, is the 9th?
The home opener will be November 9th.
Home opener is the 9th.
It's Friday night. Make sure you're there. It's going to be a blast.
All right. And so besides Lifestyle Frisco, if people want to learn more about the Legends, if they're interested in getting involved, whatever it is they may want to know, what's the best way for them to reach out and find you guys?
I would say our website, and I said that earlier, texlegends.com. However, the best way is probably via our social channels. I believe it's at Texas Legends on Twitter, Texas Legends on Facebook, Instagram. I think that those channels in this day and age are probably the best ways to learn about us and see what we have going on a consistent basis.
Yeah, a lot of good content. And if you want to know more about camps or other events, be sure to subscribe to Lifestyle Frisco as well. Just go to the website. You'll get the little pop-up, put in your email, because we're going to feature those camps in our This Week in Frisco, and make sure that that's on not only the post but the email, so you can know what's coming up and be ready for it at all times. And you guys are doing awesome things for the community as well. It's fun to watch a team get as ingrained in the community as you have. And last but not least, I really want to give a shout out to all of the business development opportunities that people have with you guys as well. Why don't you just briefly tell us about that, because we're running out of time.
Forget the time. I'm going to go as long as I want. So first of all, with the community, yes, we're in the community, but that's not really our goal.
Yep.
Our goal is to be part of the community. And I think that ties into the business development component you're talking about. We do 3 different business development events, professional development events per month. And that's year round. It's not just during our season. We'll do a happy hour once a month, a luncheon, which is more professional development in nature, once a month. We'll have a featured speaker. This past Wednesday was Toyota was our featured speaker. And people learned a ton of things about the things that Toyota has going on, from a social responsibility standpoint and how they make decisions in that realm. And then we'll do a morning breakfast once a month as well. And next week we'll have Ron Patterson from the Frisco EDC coming by to tell us about not just current projects that Frisco has going on, but hey, where are we looking to go? Where are we going to be in a year, in 5 years, and what's the plan? And so look, we'll get upwards of 125 local businesses out to those events, each event. and small, medium, and large. It really runs the gamut of opportunities. And we pride ourselves on being able to connect those companies, connect those opportunities, and develop relationships. So often, I think that businesses get tied up into, hey, this is the contract and this is our relationship. Mm-hmm. That's a piece of paper. And I think that we try to look at it where, the real part of that relationship is not in the black ink on the contract. It's in the white space. And the stuff that's not on there and going above and beyond for each other. That's really the part that I think where we try to really serve others and give people opportunities to develop those relationships.
Yeah, and I think what you guys have going is second to none in that space.
I appreciate that.
It really is.
Appreciate that.
No, thank you guys for putting all that effort in and making those things happen.
It's I've got a great team. They all chip in, and
I know
if
what
you come
that's
to those
like.
events, they see us setting up and tearing down, and away we go.
That's right.
We learn from you.
Well, no, and likewise. I mean, that goes both ways.
It's a good partnership.
It really is.
If you go out to our site and type in Texas Legends, you're going to get a ton of stuff. And Steve Hunt, one of our writers, did a great job covering your players individually and sharing some really good stories about them last season. And we had great photos by Swad Bedovich, which were also great. Now we've got Kelly Walker chatting with you on a regular basis to get us.
You got a great team.
Great concept. Yeah, so it's fun though, but we really enjoy covering
and
you.
Suad, I forgot Suad. Is that how you say
Swad?
Swad. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he gets his clothes, but he's always the best dressed guy in the room.
He is the best dressed photographer in the world. That's what he would tell you. And he is also a Jay Hilburn rep.
I know. Yeah. I'm giving him a hard time.
Yeah, yep. I'll give him the little plug there. Yep. Swad, that one was for you.
It's a good relationship. We appreciate you all.
We really do. And it's fun to get into some of those backstories. Not just, what the player accomplished on the court, but what's kind of happening with that player off the court. And learning more about who they really are. And it's especially fun at this stage as they're developing and either they've spent some time in the NBA or they're heading to the NBA. And, that's kind of a rare opportunity, I think, to get a behind-the-scenes look at some of those guys before they go and become, the next
LeBron James. Yeah.
We had Jameel Warney last season.
Yes,
and he went to the Mavericks, and he just might be returning to the Legends this year.
Okay.
He was the USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year. The previous winners are LeBron James and guys like that.
Yeah.
And Jameel he's a soon-to-be NBA player. I think he's more than deserving and is more than capable of it. But having guys like that, and to your point, the stories behind them. We've had Justin Dentman over the years, and we may have him this coming season. We'll see. But you get to know Justin, and he's got a ton of different business interests beyond basketball. And sometimes I think that we look at athletes and we say, oh, they're a basketball player. And similar to me and you, Nicole, that's only one part of who they are.
Yeah.
There's a family side. There's a business side. There's other components that it's really neat and interesting to get to know.
Well, we're going to have to dig into a whole lot more of those stories
Absolutely.
This season. We lost Jonathan Motley too, though, didn't we?
We did, yeah. The Mavericks traded him to the Clippers, which really it worked out for everybody. The Mavericks got some assets back. And Jonathan, the Mavericks have a number of post players, so the opportunities for him with the Mavericks were somewhat limited, and so he'll get a great opportunity with the Clippers, and he was great with us. Wish him the best. I do not look forward to playing against him.
Yeah, but we wish him well, except
Yes.
when he's playing the Legends.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, shout out to him as well because he was fun to watch. But Malcolm, thanks so much for coming on the
Appreciate
show today.
that.
We really appreciate having you here. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to the Frisco podcast. If you want to learn a little bit more, head out to textlegends.com or hit them up on social media. We're going to link all of that stuff up in the show notes for this episode. We'll talk to you next time.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.